you've worked alongside current legends in the TV news industry. A lot we know, and some retired, just like in your club.
Okay.
So what comes to mind, quick versions, when I mention these names? Savannah Guthrie.
Great friend and very smart with a good sense of humor.
Hoda Kotb.
I spent time with her in the mountains in Italy, driving through, and I would just say that she is a delightful person. What you see on TV is what you get.
Al Roker.
The fastest gun in the West. He is the most humorous, and that is not planned. He just comes up with those quick puns and jokes immediately. It's just who he is. And that's hard to do every day.
Every day. All day.
Exactly.
On air.
Exactly.
Craig Melvin.
Craig Melvin. I got to know him during a trial in Orlando, and we were both there. He is earnest. He is like an affable gentleman.
Carson Daly.
Carson Daly. So, of course, I knew him long before I got to know him. His knowledge in music far exceeds what you probably think he has. He is so deep, a genuinely nice guy who, when I was in New York once and I needed a tie because I was going to sit on set and didn't know I was going to be in New York, he has a whole rack of ties and says, choose whatever one you want. You're like my brother.
Awesome. Jenna Hager.
Jenna Hager. So I would say that if I were to close my eyes and think of a moment, I would say that we're inside the makeup room and her hair is all over the place and she's having her makeup done. And you know what? She's as real as anybody else.
Lester Holt.
He is a rock. He is solid. He is a nice guy. He has deep, deep, deep skills as a journalist. And you will understand this. Very few people could do an entire newscast in the field with all the scripts written and everything else and the teleprompter in front of them, and then the teleprompter goes out, and he still did the entire broadcast. And so when I saw him do a whole broadcast without the teleprompter, with just a few notes in his hand, because you can't really go to the scripts at that point, I realized this guy has skills beyond skills. He's a wonderful guy. We just spent some time in Miami together.
Oh, lucky you.
Yeah.
We did some tossbacks during my weekend mornings when he was.
And great pipes.
Great pipes. And his son is just as good, by the way.
Yep.
You know, also in the field. Couric.
Katie Couric, love her to death. Just an amazing person who really wrapped her arms around me when I got to NBC. And I think it probably might have been initially because she came from WTVJ in Miami. I came from WTVJ, but we've stayed in contact. She's a wonderful person who, taught us all that even the simplest question can lead to the biggest important answer. If you think about when she asked Sarah Palin what she reads, I mean, just she's like cotton candy, but inside she's as rock solid as they come for journalism.
Love that. Tom Brokaw.
My hero. Tom Brokaw set the standard, told us all by example what journalism is. And in the early days of my time at NBC, communication was not with email. We had an internal system where you would get a thing called a top of line. It would be a little message that would come on the top of your login. And Tom Brokaw would very rarely send a note to somebody in the field about the work they did. But when I got a note from Tom, it was like it was kind of like your dad said, you did a good job out there on the field playing soccer or baseball today. It was that meaningful to come from Tom Brokaw. So when I retired, he mustered the strength, because he has some illness right now, to say some very kind things to me on a video that, is a tradition in television news to have a video of everybody saying goodbye to you and thank you for your work. But he set the standard, and in many ways was part of an industry that has changed dramatically. It used to be the three main anchors at the three main networks, and that was it. And so to think that I was in his group of contributing correspondents reporting for him, so meaningful. Wonderful man.
What an impact.
Yeah.
Yeah.